welcome back to the channel and welcome to today's video. Today we're going to be doing some maintenance, and no, it's not going to be on any of my cars. It's actually going to be on a 2011 E90 335i. So you guys have probably seen this car before on the channel. This is my buddy Drew's E90 335. And lately he's been experiencing some misfiring, and so today we need to do some process of elimination and kind of figure out what's going on with the car. We are going to be changing out ignition coils and spark plugs. We're actually going to be filming this video down at Drew's house. Since the car's misfiring, we don't really want to be driving it around, so it's just a little bit easier for me to head down to his place. I do want to apologize right now for the lighting because he doesn't have the kind of lighting that we have here in my garage. So hopefully we can figure things out, but if not, it'll at least be a nice DIY guide for those of you who are trying to do this maintenance stuff on your own, because I know that BMW does charge quite a bit of money for ignition coils and spark plugs. So hopefully we can figure things out. Let's head on down to Drew's and get this party started. All right guys, so we're here in Drew's garage. We're gonna be replacing the OEM coil pack as well as the spark plugs. So this car's got like 70,000 miles on it. It's already been done before, but he does run E85, and so your coil pack and your spark plugs tend to go a little bit faster than if the car was stock. So we're gonna be pulling all that stuff off today. First things first here, we need to go ahead and disconnect the battery. So get yourself a 10 millimeter and disconnect the negative terminal here. All right, so once the battery's disconnected, we need to take off a few things, including this engine cover, the intake here, as well as all of this stuff here. So this is the in-cabin filter. We need to remove this, as well as this plastic tray here to give us more access to the coils, which is all on this side of the engine, and there's two more back here, so all of this has to come off. So to remove this here, we've got a couple 8 millimeter screws here. There's one here, one here, one there, and two more on the other side. Then we can pull off these little covers here. Pull these little rubber grommets back. Gotta watch out for the sensor here, so turn that, pull that guy out, pull this up, out of the way. And then for this cover piece, we've got a couple 8 millimeters here as well. So that side's up. One more over here. Lift this whole guy up out of here. Remove the intake, flathead, and then we need to unplug this MAP sensor here. Just held on by a plug. There's that. Also need a Phillips. Pull this engine cover off, pull this elbow off. And we have to pull all these wires up out of the way. So, need to move this little strut tower brace out of the way. I actually forgot my Torx, so I'm actually using a 7/16 socket. I loosened it. We just need to be able to move this up, that's about it. So I don't think we need to move this otherwise. This takes some finagling. Okay. That's that. Okay. Got all the covers off. So, as you can see, 1, 2, 3, 4. Number 5 is underneath this pile of plugs, and then number 6 is back here. So that's where all your coil packs are. So what we're gonna do is unplug these two whole X plugs right here, and then that should give us access to reach this little bracket that we can pull off, and this whole thing will move out of the way. Okay, so for coil pack number 5, I actually didn't unplug these. I just pulled them off of this bracket right here, but we still need to remove this middle bracket in order to reach it. So use a T30. Screw this Torx screw. There's that T30, and then move this bracket out of the way. We don't need to take it completely off of this thing, but just out of the way enough to give us some room. Okay, to remove coil packs, you pretty much just need to pull this up like that, and it will release this little plug. And then to actually get it out, I just use a socket extension or a screwdriver or something, put it in here, pull up, and there you go. So your spark plug is down here inside of this hole. So it doesn't matter, even if you mix all of these coil packs, it doesn't matter, they're all the same part number and everything. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull all 6 of these out. So once again, all you gotta do is pull up on it. It'll release the plug. Get your tool in here and pull up and out. Number 2. Pretty simple to do. Number 3. Process is pretty much the same, even if it's an N54 or N55. Number 4. These are the harder ones because there's no room to work. You got it? Yeah.
Such a satisfying sound.
I know, it really is. So to remove these spark plugs, you're gonna need a spark plug socket. This one is from Burger Tuning. I've had this for a long time. It's basically a 12 point. So that with a long extension should be able to get in here. Unscrew this. Okie doke. So there you can see all the threads. So you have to unscrew, you know, for a couple minutes, but they look okay. So there's the old one. This is cylinder 1. All right, so repeat the process for all of the remaining 5 cylinders. There's that one. All right, so before we go ahead and put the new ones on, I figured I'd show you guys what we are working with here. So for replacement parts, these were purchased from FCP Euro. So for the coil pack, this is what we're using. These are Bosch, pretty much OEM. This is the part number here if you need it. And then we are also using NGK spark plugs, laser iridium, and there's the part number for that. So all good stuff here, and these are 1 heat signature lower than stock, so which is advisable to do when you have a car that's tuned, and especially something that's on E85. Having spark plugs that are 1 heat signature cooler is the way to go. When it comes to gapping spark plugs, there's some discrepancies and different opinions on the forums, but essentially, if your car is an N55, the standard spec for gapping is 0.032, which is the same as the N20 motor. So if your car is stock, I would keep it at that same spec. So since the car is tuned, it's got, you know, an extra 100 horsepower, it's more advisable to use a spark plug gap of between 0.018 and between 0.018 and 0.020. So if you get yourself one of these spark plug gappers, you can pretty much get this anywhere, but if you go to AutoZone, this is only, you know, super cheap. But basically, I'm going to use this old spark plug just for an example to show you guys what we currently have on it. So there's specs all the way around this whole thing here. So if you slide this in here, just like that, in between the actual So if you slide this in between the actual tip here, you can actually see how to gap this. So then you can slide it, and when you slide it over, it'll open the gap even larger. So we want this to be 0.020, which is what we are currently at right here. So I think that's sufficient on what we're going to do with the new ones. But basically, if you wanted to widen the gap, you would just slide this around and push it, and it'll push this opening and make it larger. Okay, so this is our new NGK plug, properly gapped, and we can go ahead and put all of these back into the car, and we'll torque these down to spec. And the torque specs for these spark plugs are going to be about 23 Newton meters or 16.96 foot-pounds. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and start here on this first cylinder. So I'm just gonna do this by hand first, and then we'll go back after we get them all in here and torque them down to spec. But carefully put this in. And then I'm just gonna hand tighten. All right, that one's in. I'm gonna continue to do the other 5, and then I'll come back to you, and then we'll put the coil packs on. And just in case you guys wanted to see what the inside looks like. So this is with the spark plug in it. So that's what it looks like, the spark plug inside of it versus when it's out. Now we're ready to go ahead and put our new coil packs back in. So once again, these are Bosch from FCP Euro, and I've actually used these before. I used these on my N54 back in the day, so I'm already familiar with what these look like. These compared to the old ones, so this is the new Bosch, this is an old Delphi. I actually like these better. I think they look a little bit nicer, and these Delphi ones have this weirdo kind of rubber thing here, and it's nicer to have this one where it's built in. This can actually come off, it's like glued onto the actual coil pack, and this could break off, so this is nice because it's all one big piece. So simple install. We're gonna go ahead and push this back in. Just want to make sure you're orienting this correctly. So our plug is over here, so go ahead and push this all the way on. It goes into place. Okay, it's all the way down in there, and then you can go ahead and plug this back in. It only goes in one direction here, so once you get this in here, this will push this flap down, and then you just click it and lock it into place. And we'll do that with the remaining 5. So hopefully this is a better angle for you guys. So this is the second one, plugs on this side. So just gonna go ahead and push it on in. It'll seat right on top of the spark plug. Push it all the way till it goes all the way down. And then you can go ahead and plug this in, so line it up. Once it goes in, it'll push this flap over, and then you just lock it into place. That's it. Okay, little progress report. Everything's back into place, so we've got all of our spark plugs in, all of our coils, all 6. We can go ahead and put this bracket back in here. So once again, we've got a torque screw here, and this is a T30. Screw that back in, and then we can put our Molex plugs back onto the little bracket, and then go ahead and put that little engine cover thing back on and button all this up. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, everything's all buttoned back up. Reverse order on all the little plastic pieces that we all took off, so pretty simple otherwise. And reconnect the battery, should be good to go. Drew's gonna turn this car back on and clear any codes that we had, and we should be good to go. All right, everybody, that just about does it for today's video. Hopefully that was helpful for some of you guys. Unfortunately, Drew is still experiencing some misfiring issues, so we kind of need to do process of elimination. So that was kind of the first few steps. We're gonna keep going and try to figure this out on our own. And since this is a DIY channel, hopefully we can do that and provide some more content for you guys. But If you guys have any comments, questions, or concerns about anything that we've done, please let me know. I will also have links in the description below if you need to purchase ignition coils or spark plugs. All of it was from FCP Euro. So don't forget to subscribe if you aren't already, and like the video, comment, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Take care, stay tuned for more.